Welcome back to the channel. Today we are revisiting performance of a wonderful product by a company called DDPAI. It is one of my favorite dash cams ever, Z60 Pro. I reviewed this camera before and I was very impressed, as you can remember, but I owe you a performance demonstration of all three channels connected. So today we are connecting this and this and this all in one, and I'm going to show it to you all on the screen, and we're going to go for a drive, and I'm going to subsequently discuss with you what I think about how that whole bundle performs. Was it easy to connect? Are there any issues? How is the performance itself, and so on and so forth. Before we jump into the footage, I can tell you, please do not giggle too loudly because my installation is temporary. I don't need all these three channels in my car permanently, which is why I'm going to connect everything as it's supposed to be connected through the wires, but placement of the cameras is going to be obviously temporary and not how you probably would do it in real life. So that's a caveat, that's an asterisk. Connecting all three channels involves a lot of wires. Luckily, all of them are provided. The diagram of connection is very easy, and DDPAI provides their own little video of how to wire those all those units together. So I was following that. You can follow the original video. There is no point for me retracing the steps because you can see this knot of wires that I've created here for myself as a temporary installation. I'm not proud of it, but it all works. It follows the diagram, and I'm about to show you how it actually works in action as I film myself driving around and then comment kind of on all this contraption that I have created. One and probably the single disappointing thing of this whole construction, in my humble opinion, is the fact that even though you have connected according to the diagram, even though it's a three-channel connection, so it should work as a cohesive unit, when the main camera is Z60 Pro, the secondary channel camera is Mini 2X, and the rear camera is connected as well over there. Mini 2X camera, which is the second channel, it demands to have a memory card inserted. Otherwise, it will continue annoying you with this, please insert a memory card, please insert a memory card.
Insert a memory card. Insert a memory card.
In my humble opinion, when the camera is operating on its own, that's fair enough. That is obvious, it needs to record something. But when it detects connection between all these wires as a three-channel unit, in my humble opinion, all recording, all of the stuff should happen on the main channel, on the main camera basically, not on the main channel, but on the main, the spill kind of should happen onto that memory card inserted into the Z60 Pro unit. If I had everything prepared, if I had the secondary memory card, SIM card in my hand, ready to be plugged into Mini 2X camera, if I had everything prepared, it would have taken me probably under 20 minutes to connect all of this, including running the wires, because I literally just threw them back there. As you can see, they're hanging there. I'm not proud of this, but if I had to do this very properly, it probably would have taken me a maximum of maybe 20 minutes, I'm guessing. While for me to go through the diagram, to take a first look at this, make sure I'm doing everything properly, make sure everything is connected properly, it took me a little bit longer than that because I had to return home from where my car is parked and take the extra SIM card, you know what I'm saying, right? Beyond that, I'd say that if I was, like I keep saying, who are these very involved three-channel cameras for? They are primarily probably for people who are providing commercial or semi-commercial people transportation services in their vans and taxis and taxi cars, essentially, because who else would need kind of permanent monitoring of what's happening inside here? I can see a lot broader use, I suppose, for those people who are taking advantage of the front, obviously, and the rear footage of who is behind you. I get that. That is more broadly applicable. That is you just as a safety conscious person. You don't want someone to bump you at the back, kind of as happened to one of my friends a couple of years ago, and that sparked the whole chain of me talking about dash cameras and how important those cameras are, and how you don't think that they're important until you really need them. Well, in this particular case, the third channel, the one that looks right now at me, I do think that channel is certainly mainly justified, and extra wires and extra stuff is justified for those people who are transporting passengers and who really want to make sure that their safety is all in order, that, you know, everything else is happening as they expect it to happen. Perhaps it's a patient transportation as well. It doesn't have to just be taxi services like Uber services or actual taxi. But I do think that when you're transporting patients, when you're transporting vulnerable people, when you are providing some kind of social services, some kind of community services, perhaps even kids, when it's a school bus and you want to see exactly, or at least monitor what kids are doing there in case something didn't go according to plan, as it goes with kids often, I do think that that's where you would absolutely take advantage, you benefit, you know, you will take advantage and you will benefit from having that third channel in front of you. I would say for me, the amount of wiring, the amount of knotting over here, of course I didn't tuck in the wires, and you could and you should, but I'd say that for me it's a little overwhelming. Like, I'd say it's on overwhelming side. It's too much, basically. It's too much. But again, if you have a specific use for it, and otherwise why would you be buying this and installing all this stuff? You simply wouldn't, right? But if you have a specific use for it, I think you would, without a shadow of a doubt, benefit from something like this with a modular architecture that allows you connection. Okay, Mini 2X demands to have its own SIM. It's no big deal because DDPAI provides that SIM. You don't even need to buy it. It's even provided in the box for you, which is beneficial. Then you can set up DDPAI App to basically have both cameras, Z60 Pro and Mini 2X, as separate two cameras, accessible separately, and the footage from them is accessible also separately, which I think is a neat trick and is a good thing that basically the DDPAI has done. So I have to applaud them on that. You let me know, as always, in the comments down below, what did you think, first of all, of the footage shown throughout of this video. Secondly, I deliberately didn't comment on the sound because I'm recording this before I'm editing this, so I don't know yet the quality of the sound. I presume it's not going to be great, but I also suspect that it's probably going to be acceptable. You're not going to be, you know, recording a podcast here. You don't require crystal clear sound in these kind of devices. I can't imagine so. You want to know what was happening inside of the vehicle. You want to know what people perhaps were talking about for your own safety or something like this. If police ask you, I don't know, whatever else. Or how some kind of interpersonal conflict escalated between your two kids before they started fighting each other. I don't know if that's what you have this extra channel to monitor. But I will stop ranting. And let's wrap up, my friends. So my closing thoughts on the quality of the footage and performance of the 3-channel DDPAI Z60 Pro with Mini 2X camera that was looking at me the whole way through. What did you think, first of all? Before I render my own verdict, what do you think? Was the quality of all channels acceptable? Of course, don't forget that we are looking forward with the highest possible quality footage of 4K. We are looking inwards at me at a 2K footage, which should be acceptable in good lighting conditions. In bad lighting conditions, you can expect that it's not going to be as amazing, but probably still acceptable would be my guess. And looking backwards is a 1080p, the lowest quality footage, but something that probably is sufficient, again, in not particularly dark, not particularly bad weather conditions, to see exactly what car is behind you and what they are doing. That is my working theory. My also working theory here that I'm closing this with is that the quality of sound of the cameras is acceptable. It is not going to be something to write home about or record, like I said, podcasts from and expect crystal clear sound footage like you would have from a professional microphone or even from a dedicated phone these days. But I think it's acceptable for a dash cam. Don't forget, it's a dash cam. Now is your turn. These are my thoughts. That is honest footage, as I always do when I review any of the products. It was quite an involved installation, but I enjoyed this process. I learned something in this process, and I hope that you did as well. If you did, please never leave without leaving a quick like. Stick around, and you'll get a lot more from this channel. Thank you for watching.